Hello everyone, it is Briximus Prime, back at it again for another Transformers action figure video, and today we're going to be starting with part 1 in a series of reviews that will lead us down the road to Bruticus. Today we are going to be taking a look at the Age of the Primes, Combaticons, Brawl, and Vortex. When I recently obtained these figures, you could say I really had to brawl with the employees and throw them into a vortex. First of all, there's some nice artwork right there. It says Transformers Age of the Primes, Brawl, and Vortex. Here on the side, got some nice image of Bruticus right there. Here on this side, got art of the Primes right there. And then here on the back, just some promo images and stuff like that we'll be looking at throughout the review. Authentic Transformers. And of course, I don't really care for keeping the packaging. Shit. And here's now taking a look at the accessories included with Brawl and Vortex. Personally, I don't consider Vortex's helicopter blades an accessory. I just think of them as a separate part of the figure that just requires some assembly out of the box. And then Vortex has these 3 blasters here. 2 of these guns kind of serve to look like a classic set of pistols, and then the third one kind of serves as a really good rifle. And as for Brawl, Brawl comes with this set of really big cannons right here, which do have a base with a hinge joint at that base for adjusting the cannons. That is not the only cannon that is big. Not me. I'm not talking about me. Definitely not me. And then he does also include a handheld pistol rifle thingy right here. Of course, the pistol can go in his hand. Meanwhile, the big cannons can be stored on his backpack. But these cannons also have another feature. If you rotate his cannon barrel and you have these facing upward, it gives him a very nice set of shoulder cannons, which actually look very badass. And then, of course, his actual pistol can also be stored on his back as well. And now taking a look at Vortex in his robot mode here, I do love this head sculpt. He has a very nice wide red visor with the silver mouth plate. Looks very, simplistic, yet, really cool. Though I would have preferred, instead of having this bit of landing gear on the back of his head for transformation, I would have preferred some nice red light piping for that visor, but beggars can't be choosers, I guess. And overall, I love the mechanical detail going on here. He's also got a nice Decepticon logo there on his shoulder. And I don't know what it is. I really love the color scheme of the blue and gray going together. It's kind of a satisfying color scheme to see. He's got some nice mechanical detail with these engine intakes right here. There's the previously mentioned arm blasters. He's got his fists right there. And again, he's got these bits of backwards arm kibble that really get in the way, and honestly, they're probably the biggest complaint I have about this figure. They don't plug in, they don't really go anywhere, and they just kind of dangle around off of his shoulders, and the cannon, these arm guns here, are the only things that help make them a little bit manageable. And overall, I just really like the mechanical detail this guy has going all around him. His proportions are pretty good, the rest of his kibble management is pretty alright. And overall, I honestly don't really have much to complain about beyond the arm kibble. And then taking a look at Brawl here, same thing that I said about Vortex. I wish there was some light piping for this guy, especially if you could also get that head gem to also glow as well. Would have made these figures pretty lit, you know what I'm saying? Yes, I will take the bullet to the brain, please. And overall, Brawl here is really nice looking. I like this olive green color they used for him. It's a very uncommon color used for Transformers, but I quite like the way that it looks on this guy. And I love the gunmetal gray with all this mechanical detail, some nice silver. He's got the Decepticon logo there on his forearm. And overall, he's got the nice sculpted details with his fists and all the different panel lines and mechanical detail. Just love all the treads and everything just all throughout this guy. This guy is quite satisfying, and also I might add, this guy is quite hefty as well. Of course, he does have the kibble of the tank turret right here, but it's not a complaint. It's not really kibble, that's just part of the figure. Him having that on his back is accurate to this guy's character. But yeah, just to reemphasize, this guy is quite the hefty boy. And on top of that, he isn't just a hefty Voyager, he is also the best feeling Voyager. I know that sounds very sus, but let me explain.
I can explain.
All the joints on this guy are nice and tight. They're not too tight where you feel like you're going to break them, and they're not too loose that they feel like they're going to become looser over time. Like, every single joint on this guy, every single posability part on this entire figure just feels super silky smooth and satisfying. Just, like, it's very hard to describe. And on top of that, this guy has quite a wide range of articulation as well. So getting into the articulation a little more in detail, the tank turret can adjust right here, and it can rotate and slightly move up and down just to accommodate for all kinds of posability. There is a ball joint at the head, which allows for head pivoting. His head can swivel left to right, and he can look up and down a little bit. Shoulders rotate a full 360. They can move in and out. Due to transformation, he also has some nice butterfly joints in his shoulders. He does also have a elbow swivel, 90 degrees of bend at the elbow, nothing at the wrist. He does have a nice waist joint right here. Hey, but at least they're not wasting my time, you know what I'm saying? And then due to transformation for the combine feature, this is the ankle tilt for the eventual Bruticus combiner, but you can try to utilize this for posability for Brawl if you like. His hips can rotate very far up, they can rotate very far back. They can move out to the side. He does have a thigh swivel, 90 degrees of bend at the knee. And then finally, this guy does have ankles that can move up, they can move down, and he does have ankle pivot. Very fantastic articulation on this guy. I am very pleased with this figure. And then going over Vortex's articulation, he also has a ball joint at the head, which allows him to look up and down, a little bit of head pivoting, head can swivel all over the place. Shoulders rotate a full 360, they can move in and out. Bicep swivel, 90 degrees of bend at the elbow, nothing at the wrist. And then he does have a waist swivel, hips can rotate forward and back, they can move out to the side. He does get a thigh swivel, 90 degrees of bend at the knee, and then his ankles can pivot. So pretty good articulation here on this deluxe class as well. And then of course the helicopter blades can spin. Whee! And now getting into comparisons, here is Vortex and Brawl compared next to their commanding officer, the Studio Series 86 Leader Class Megatron.
I've got morons on my team!
Just for fun, here is a Studio Series Brawl compared next to the Age of the Primes G1 style Brawl. Here they are compared next to my previous review, the Studio Series 86 Deluxe Windcharger. And no, I do not have a proper Starscream figure that I can properly compare these guys with. So instead, here they are compared next to my other previous review that I did, the Studio Series 86 Voyager Thundercracker, which will be repainted into a proper Starscream eventually. And now with those comparisons out of the way, we are now going to get into the transformation for these two, and then we'll move on to the vehicle modes. And here's now taking a look at Vortex and Brawl in their tank and helicopter modes. And overall, I love the detail here across the helicopter mode for Vortex. I also like the blue stripe going down the middle. I like the glossy black here for the windows with that silver highlight going all throughout. And overall, the details are pretty impeccable. He's got weapon storage right here, and of course, you can see the blasters right there. Helicopter blades also look really good as well with some nice silver paint in the middle. And he's got another blade right here in the back, which also spins. And overall, I really like this helicopter. Really makes me reminisce about another helicopter character. And again, he has this little bit of landing gear that pops out right there. And yeah, that is quite literally some of the most useless landing gear I have ever seen in my life. Just like my channel! And now taking a look at Brawl here. Again, fantastic mechanical detail going all throughout here, especially now that the treads are now kind of fully put on display. And again, just love all the rivets and bolts and details. I also love the cannons right here. Kind of make me think about, gives me flashbacks to another tank as well. But of course, you can always remove those and you can just make him look more like a traditional tank with some nice extra details and everything going all throughout this guy. And overall, he does also have some nice rolling wheels. And then the turret here can rotate, and again, it can slightly adjust for other poses. This barrel can also angle up and down. And then this gun here is also optional. It's just the one he uses to hold in robot mode. So overall, really good stuff going on here. Kibble is also very minimal. They kind of hid the head pretty well. And again, same goes for Vortex. They pretty much hid all the kibble for the robot modes for both of these guys pretty well while maintaining having really good vehicle modes, as well as, you know, they even fit combined modes in these guys. And we are not going to be getting into these guys' combined modes until later on. That's going to be saved for a later video, like I do with the rest of my combiners. For now, we are, however, going to take a look at the comparisons here, especially with them compared to the 86 Megatron in his tank mode. Here they are with Studio Series Voyager Brawl. Here they are with 86 Windcharger. And then here they are compared next to Prototype Starscream, or aka 86 Thundercracker. And that is basically it for my review on the Age of the Primes, Combaticons, Vortex, and Brawl, our first review in a series of reviews that will lead us to Bruticus. And yes, I am extremely satisfied with these figures. I like Vortex. He's a pretty alright deluxe, though I will say his posability leaves much to be desired, and some of his engineering is just a little bit on the mid side. But the looks and everything else, don't get me wrong, are great. And again, he's a better deluxe than most. I like his figure a lot, and his helicopter mode's pretty good as well. Again, it's just there's those little nitpicks that I would say is making this guy look kind of like my least favorite Combaticon of the set. But again, that is a pretty wide margin, because so far all of them are looking to be really fantastic figures, including Brawl. Brawl is another very great addition, and in my opinion, could be possibly set up to be the best of the entire set. Brawl has a great transformation, great engineering, great detail, perfect amount of accessories, and again, the solidity of the figure, his posability, the engineering, just how solid he feels. Like, I honestly could say that this guy is, I would also highly recommend getting Brawl, even if that's the only figure you want of the whole set. Like, Brawl himself is a great standalone figure, even outside. I haven't even attempted to transform this guy in his combined mode yet, and I'm already satisfied with how he's turned out. So yeah, that is pretty much it for my review on these two. If I had to give Vortex a rating, I give Vortex a very solid 7 out of 10. I'm gonna be a little, I was gonna say 6, but I thought I'd be a little more generous, because again, he is better than most deluxes I've handled, so I'd say he's more maybe around the 7 mark. And then Brawl, I am actually going to give a very solid 9 out of 10. He is just, oh, he's right there. The one thing that would have put him over the top to be top 10 out of 10 would have been his QC problem. Could have been dealt with a little bit better. The one where he has a stress mark on his little abdomen joint. Be sure to keep mindful of that. And then on top of that, in my opinion, he should have had a wrist swivel, and there should have been a better way to have the cannons on him. But overall, like, again, he's right there, right. He can taste the 10 out of 10, but he just didn't quite make it there. But again, that is it for this review. If you guys enjoyed it, give me a like on the video, comment below what you guys think, subscribe to the channel for more Transformers and action figure content, and I'll catch you guys next time.